Yeah, hi, I'm Paul Rushton from Northwest Horsemanship, and today I've got our little colt that we're working with. His name's Impressive Ace. Now, he's a little stock horse colt that we've had since he was 8 months old, and in September he turns 2. So we just thought we'd get a bit of a head start on things and saddle him up today, and yeah, we'll just see how things go from there. We do a bit of groundwork. He's only had one handling a couple of months ago when we first got him. He was starting to get a bit snipey. He was starting to feel his oats, and so we thought we'd do a little bit of work on him. But now we've got a little bit of time up our sleeve, and we thought we'd just get ahead of the ball game, put a saddle under him, or put him under a saddle, and yeah, see if he remembers the stuff that we started him on. So we'll get going, and like I said, I like to do the same with all our horses, whether they be older horses that we're working with or young horses. Okay, so we might just take this halter off him here, and we'll see how we go with him, see how responsive he is. Rightio. So I want to keep his eye and his attention on me. So, oh, that's a big shot. So I want his eye on me, I want his ear on me. I like him to come in like that, but not just yet. I don't want him to come in yet. So when he gets to here, I'll put a bit of pressure on him. So right, you stay out there. So I won't do anything until I see that ear come back and that eye lock in on me. I don't want him to come in, so I'll hold him out there. Right, we'll move off on this other side. And I'm looking for the same thing. I want him to come in, I want him to stop. See, his ears are twitching, he's licking his lips, his head will start coming down. When he's finished what he's doing. Good. And that's when I can walk over here. Oh, good man. Okay, so even though he's really happy to come in, I don't want him to come in. I want him to stay out there on the outside of the circle, the outside of the round yard. So what I'm actually doing here now is I'm going to work on transitions. I want him to keep moving. Now I'll ask him to slow down to a trot. You want that ear and eye on me. Slow down to a walk. A walk. A walk. He feels he's got to go to a trot. Well, we'll let him go to a trot. Might even bump him up to the canter. Back to a walk. Back to a walk. Back to a walk. walk to the trot. Keep walking. Good. Keep walking. And to a stop. Now he's going to hook on straight away. Only because he knows that the best place to be is with me. So I'll let him think about that. He's thinking, that's great. I get to stay here and I get to get patted on and loved. And he's thinking about what's going on. Okay, so from here, we'll move him off again. Like I said, I'm not too worried if they just peel off and move away. If they turn their butt on the fence or whatever, I'm not too excited. I know that by the time I'm finished, he'll want to be looking in. When I stop him, he'll want to be looking. As soon as I want him to stop, he'll want to start stopping. I want to keep everything nice and calm, because at the end of it I'd want a calm horse. So if I want a calm horse, I need to do things that are calming to him, like take pressure off, let him sit and think about things. You see his ears are moving, he's licking his lips like anything, and he really wants to just come on in here. So if he walks on by, I'll just go, righto. There we go, we'll do a little bit of extra work. Now I didn't ask him to canter, that was his choice. I just want him to trot along. Good. Because as soon as I take pressure off the horse, I don't want him to just automatically come straight in, because that way sometimes some horses will be really abrupt horses, and especially colts come right up into your face, and sometimes that can be a bit of a dangerous situation to be in. So I like to one time call them in, next time let them stop out there. I'll move him off. We'll see if we can start at a walk. At a walk instead of starting at a trot. Start at a walk. Go to a trot. Back to a walk. Back to a trot. Up to a canter. Trot, back to the walk, and then a stop. Now he just walked on there because he was coming in, and I said, no, I want you to stay out there and give me a stop. So that's why he walked on that little bit more. Now if I want him to come in, I'll walk over here to his hip and get him to come in. He was going to come in anyway. And he's licking his lips like crazy. Yeah, that's good. So that's more than I could have hoped for. I'm going to put my halter on him. See if I can move his hips around now. because being able to move his hips independent of his front end keeps me safe, and it's also the start of our riding on the horse. So if I just ask him to move his hips over, like I said, I just start from the moving the back feet over first. I don't let him move forward. Good. Ask him again, move them back feet over. Good. Now I want this closest foot to me to cross over in front of that other foot on the offside. So I just ask him, there, see that? That back foot just crossed over there. So that's what I'm after. I just let him relax. I say, you know, you did the right thing. You get to stand there. And he's thinking, well, what did I do right to get the reward of just standing there? I'll have to remember. So that's why we give them time to think about things. So they say, well, if I move that back leg over again, I'll just get to stand there. So I ask him to move that back leg over. Good. And he gets to stand there. Good. And that's how our horses learn. Okay, so now I want to move the front feet over. Good. And I just push him out there like that. I don't ask to go round in a circle. I just ask him to move his feet. So we start off with moving the back feet, and then we move the front feet. Good. Move the back feet, move the front feet. Get him to come over. See, his back feet are now starting to reach across the offside foot. Really starting to reach in there deep. That's great. The better they can do that, the more supple that they'll be on the ground when we get on their back. You can see he pushes that leg right in underneath there again. That's great. So this is what we're trying to achieve by this exercise. Pick his nose up, push him over. Let him walk out there. Let him walk out even further. Walk out. If he doesn't walk out, I'll just move him out. Move him out. Move him out. Good. Teach him to move out. That's a very important thing. You don't want horses crowding up on top of you. So if I've got a horse that the first thing he wants to do is crowd me, I'll just bump him back and get him out there. So I'll bring him back in again. Especially colts, you need to be able to get them back out of your face. Especially if when it's breeding season. Okay, you don't want them crowding you. You want them being able to move back out there. Colts can become very pushy if you let them. So you set the boundaries and you never let them step over the boundaries. Good. We go back to moving the front feet. Get him to walk out there. Move the back feet. Move the front feet. And when I get that horse where he'll take one step and stop and listen to me, then that's when that's over. See there? Put my hands there, he kept walking. So the lesson isn't over. Put that hand up to block, move him over. Move the hip around, then the front around. Good. Move the hip and the front. I want him to listen. Move the hip, then the front. Good, he's starting to listen. Move the front, stop. Move the hip. Move the hip. Good. Move the front. Stop. And you'll see, he'll soon start to work out that, hey, he just wants me to take a step. Good. Good me. Good. When he takes that one step, that's when we quit on that. That's good. So we'll work on that, you know, probably for another couple of weeks, just so that he gets it right and doesn't, you know, miss the beats. And the more we can do this at the beginning, the easier it is with when we start our horse to break him in. Good. So we walk back up here, ask the hip to move. Good, the hip moves and he can stop. Good. Another thing I like to do is get my rope here like this and just throw it over their back. That way they get to see the rope come over the offside as well as the near side. Okay, now if the horse is going to spook about anything, it's going to be seeing that rope come out from one eye out to another eye. And he's lovely and quiet, this little bloke. You know, he's good to pick all his feet up, and you know, when we give him a handling, we'll work on him for, you know, a good couple of days, and we'll get him nice and quiet. Same here. Like I said, what you do on one side, you do on the other side. Flick that rope over there. Now I like to just leave my horse's head loose, like that. If he goes to jump forward, then I'll bump his hip out of the way like that. So this is why we do our groundwork of moving the hip away from us, so that if he gets a fright, my hat drops down here somewhere like that, he gets a fright, he moves away. So he's not really worried about my hat. Okay, so we go back to this. Rub him all over. Good boy. Good. Okay, next thing we'll do, get our saddle blanket. Start with it out here. Now this little guy's been rugged for a couple of weeks now, so not much should really worry him, except for that. There we go. So he loves having his rug on. Although you mightn't think so, because I'm sweating, but it's winter here in Australia, and yeah, I think it's about 29 degrees here in Mount Isa today. So I love to do this sort of stuff with my horses. Just getting them used to everything. And always give your horse time to think about what's just happened. Don't just keep charging on forward, without giving them a chance to think about things. Every little thing we do, we need them to think about.
It's 32.
Mm-hmm. Now, like I said, I'm going to put the saddle on him today. I won't bother with the flank girth. Just take that off. This is a nice little saddle, little fender saddle. Very old, it's about 40 years old. As you can see, it's been on plenty of horses, so if you're going to saddle your horse up the first time, make sure it's not your best saddle that you're going to use. There's a lot of disappointed horsemen out there the first time they break a horse in, their horse falls on their saddle. Okay, so just getting used to it. Let him have a look at it. You might say, oh yeah, what's he going to do looking at a saddle? But he gets to smell it, know what it is. It's been on other horses, smells like a horse. It doesn't smell like a dead cowhide strapped to his back. So I'll put that up there. Let him have a look at it. It's all right. like I said, he's got plenty of time to worry about getting saddled up properly, but it's good to have him ahead of the ball game when we're about to start on our horses. Yep, let him have a look at it out of this eye. Now we're not here to frighten them, so the main aim of the game is, like I say with everything, keep it smooth and calm. You want to start calm and finish calm. He's never had the girth on before or even felt it. So you always just put that on there like that. Now that he stands well like this, bring his head away from that other side. He stands well like this, so just hold it and stop. When he moves, stop. Because we don't want him to just walk away and the first thing he does is blow up or throw himself over. So we let him know that there's something on his belly and it's okay. It's okay. We can lift it up. Good. If you want to, just let them, if they're nice and calm, just let them walk a couple of steps. Me, I like to just put one wrap on. I don't like to muck around with the horse that I'm saddling up. Now I'm not going to screw it down to cut him in half. Okay, that way you'll make your horse buck. You know, they're going to buck anyway, most of them. And it's just a very natural thing for them to do, is to just get something off their back that, you know, they don't want on there. So he's had a few rugs on and stuff like that. Hopefully he should be right. Let him walk around a little bit like that. Sometimes I'll just leave your hand, you know, and just go into it, because it just pinches them straight up. So now we're just tighten it up just a little bit. Tighten it up enough so that if it does move, or if he moves off, he's not going to end up with it wrapped around his guts, because that'd be one heck of a traumatic introduction to saddling if it all goes wrong like that. So like I said, we keep it always keep it calm. Now I take my halters off my horses. So I like them to do what they've got to do to sort of loosen up. Always keep your eyes open when you first saddle your young horses up. Like I said, they've got a real tendency to want to come back to you for reassurance. So I've seen a few people break in horses and have horses take off away from them, look around, talking to someone, and then all of a sudden that horse is coming back at them. Just looking for reassurance off them. So you'll notice I use my hand to get him moving, plus I use the kiss. So when I go to get on that horse, if his feet are a bit locked up, I'm not going to be banging on his guts. I can just keep kissing and he'll move off nice and calm, because he's used to that kissing. Now that kissing means straight away to him, move your feet. Now if every saddling of every breaker could go like this, I'd end up being out of a job. Okay, so that's the end of that lesson for Junior today. So I'm Paul Rushton for Northwest Horsemanship, and thanks for coming. See ya.